Well, this morning's job is going to be the 500-hour service on the 2150. So I was going to do this yesterday, but it rained all day, as you can tell. Got a few puddles in my parking lot. I tried to do the 250-hour service, made a video, but that was back when my SD cards were messing up. So I got like 2 clips out of all that. So yeah, we kind of just had to bypass that. But now we'll do the 500-hour, which is going to be engine oil, filter. I think it's the outer air filter. I have to double check. The intervals are all different on this. Actually, the book recommends like every 500 hours change the oil, but I kind of just been cutting the intervals in half, just because I mean I do it every 250 hours, what the loader always recommended, and like it started on the 260, it goes to 500 hours, but I've just always, I don't know, kind of cut the intervals in half. It seems to be some cheaper insurance on stuff, but it'll be the engine oil and filter, probably the outer air filter. I'll change both fuel filters, the in-tank hydraulic filter, the pilot line filter, and then the gear oil and the final drive motors. Yeah, we'll just kind of jump into it. And here's all the filters and oil I need. I'm going to run the T6 synthetic blend Rotella, because this machine actually calls for some sort of synthetic shell oil that we can't even get in the United States. So they said I talked to some people, and the T6 was the equivalent of whatever they recommend, but that's actually the oil filter. It's pretty small. And then the fuel filter, water separator, that's the in-tank hydraulic filter, and this will be my pilot line, and then my 2 air filters there. So, and then it's got the same thing as the loaders and the Mini X. It's a little smaller, but this just threads on where the oil drains out, and makes it a little cleaner and easier on doing that. But because this one has a 114 horse Deutz engine in it, so it only holds 3 gallons of oil, where like the loader's a Kubota and the 260 is a Yanmar. I don't know why they went. I think that's what the 1140s and the 2150s always had, was just a Deutz engine. I'm not sure if it's just the horsepower or what the deal is, but that's what it's got in it. So, and most of it's all actually really pretty easy to get to, because there's your oil fill, oil filter, and then your oil check. And then we'll get underneath here, that plate right there. It's a 17 millimeter. You swing that open, and that's where you can drain the oil out. This side, that'll be where the pilot line goes. And then we got the fuel filter and the water separator right here. And this is all the junk for the depth. I guess there's I don't know if it's there or right in here. There is a filter like every 2,000 hours or something. I have to look in the book. You're supposed to change on that depth stuff or whatever. But, and it's weird because at night you can, I don't know what all that is or whatever with it. If it's a heater or a cooler or what, it makes a little noise and stuff like that when you shut it off. So a little different. Let's see. And then this compartment, yeah, there's the air filters. It's also where your batteries are at. And then you can blow the radiator out, which we'll do all that. I'll probably do that here pretty quick before I get too carried away. But yeah, we'll get the oil draining and then just kind of go over all the steps. But yeah, you get that cover off, and then you can reach up in here and maybe yeah, it's just got a little cap over there. This thing's got a spring in it, so that's the only bad part. It's kind of windy outside. It blows your oil everywhere. But yeah, it's just kind of a handy little deal. You just thread that on. Like I said, it's got a spring in there. It pushes on it, and then it just starts draining the oil out, so it's a little cleaner. And I always go up here and just take the cap off to try to let it get a little air in there and drain out quicker. I'll let it run for a minute trying to warm that oil up some, but while it's doing that, we'll go ahead and get the oil filter popped off. May have been a little snug. Kind of like the loaders, the hole down there doesn't quite line up where this will drain, so I'd get like a little bowl or a cup or something to try to catch some of that oil. Some of it's still going to hit down there in the belly pan. I'll have to kind of wipe it out, but that's just part of it. There, I got me a little redneck catch pan here that's part of a quick stop cup or something. Alrighty, there we go. We'll just drop it all the way down there. Oh, barely. That is one thing I really like about these machines, is the accessibility to a lot of this stuff is really nice. So at least on this model, I guess being bigger, it's a little easier to get to everything than on some of the smaller machines. You always want to take and dump a little bit of oil in here, and I just kind of rub it around on the gasket so it's just not completely dry. And it doesn't quite have to be as tight as what I had it, because it tightens up as you run it. So, oh man, I should have taken my cup out. That's what I was. Alright, well, we'll get this cleaned out, and then we'll change some of the other filters as it's finishing draining oil. Now we'll check the air filter, or just change it, I mean. Nice pink air filter. And that's that on the air filter. I'll just move our way around. I think the pilot line filter is the next closest one. Yeah, we'll get that. Can't remember, that may be like a 22 or something. So I go find the wrench for that. This should be contained in here, but all right, let's try this again. So this filter comes with the new O-ring you want to replace. And this is what they call the pilot line filter, and somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's just an extra hydraulic filter that goes to the pilot controls in the machine, I believe. So I'll just set that guy, kind of snaps in place. And the hydraulics on this machine is AW46, which I think is hydraulic fluid, if I believe. And once again, I may get this backwards. I think fluid is a little thinner than hydraulic oil, but I get them confused, so I could be wrong. Okay, and then I take this little plate off, just so I got a little more room to get to the water separator. It's kind of got a, I guess it's just like a little cubby area if you want to hold something else in here, but let's see. think. Yeah, there's a plug. Get a pair of pliers. Okay, let's try this again. You can unplug the wire, and then I think you should be able to just, this is where I may have messed up last time, but let's go find a Gatorade bottle or something. Okay, had to look in the book because I couldn't, but you take and twist that, and then that'll make the fuel, like the fuel shut off or whatever, because it just kept running out in this cup that I've got. So now it should finally stop. I thought there was some sort of trick with it, I just couldn't remember. Alrighty, so now it should drain the last little bit out, hopefully. Alright, that was a little snug. This one doesn't need to be quite as tight. And I don't fill this one up with fuel, obviously, because it's got the hole in the bottom of it. It'll just I can turn the key on, it'll start pumping the fuel back in there and working the air out. That's probably tight enough. I don't know why that, I may not have changed that other one last time. It's been too long. So now we'll I did this one first thinking I wouldn't have as much fuel when I dumped the other one to get on top of here, but it really didn't matter. Snap that back in place. There's some little grooves in there you got to get lined up. So, all right. Whew. Made a nice big mess there. Go ahead and put this back on because we can get to the other one with. It's a little snug. The wrench is a little smaller container. There we go. All right, I'll just clean my mess up and then we'll do the hydraulic tank filter. Well, and that completes the 500-hour service on a Takeuchi TB2150, so it's not too bad. And then now in 250 hours, I'll just do the oil and air filter again, and then it'll be the 1,000-hour service, which will pretty much be the same as what I just did. Like I said, the suction strainer over there is the only other thing that's different, but it's like 4,000 hours, and I may actually do it at 2,000 hours if I'm cutting all the intervals in half. But yeah, really not too bad. So now oh yeah, I gotta blow the radiator out real quick, and then I've already got the bucket and stuff greased. I'll let it down and get the rest of it loaded up, and then we can head to Starbucks and start trying to hog out the dirt for where the building is going to set. Yeah, that's kind of the basic steps. This machine has got 520 hours on it now. I'm loving the machine. I mean, it's great to run. It's nice and smooth. It's quiet, quick. Yeah, really no complaint. The only thing, which I don't know, part of it may just be me or something, but every now and then, I don't know if you notice, sometimes when I'm tracking with this thing, it kind of gets jerky, and I don't know if part of it's just where I position my feet. Like the pedals are real sensitive. It'll just kind of sit there and jerk a little bit, or if it's something with the drive motors. But that's the only thing that kind of drives me nuts sometimes. And a lot of it, I'm thinking, really, the more I get to thinking about it, it's probably these street pads. Because it seems like, depending on, it does it more on like asphalt type stuff, or I don't know, kind of real hard ground. I think these things just really kind of grab on you know, like I said, that asphalt or concrete surface and stuff like that. So it seems to be a little more jerky when I am on like parking lots and different things like that, if I got to kind of track and turn. But other than that, I mean, the machine, I absolutely love it. So I'm getting all kinds of work done with this thing now, and I just keep finding more and more stuff to use it for. Now with the grading bucket on there, it makes it even easier to grade things out and move a lot of dirt in a short amount of time. So yeah, I am very pleased with this purchase. And like I said, really these services are, to me, I mean, it's easy. It takes a little bit, but you know, I just kind of make sure I clean everything up and all that jazz and stuff, and just go over everything real good. But with the size of the machine, it seems like the accessibility is really, really nice, because you can get to the radiator, you got the radiator, hydraulic cooler, and then like the AC compressor or condensers all right there. But you can also get over here to it, and then you can easily get up behind the fan. You kind of got to, you know, spin the fan a little bit, but I got one of those real like long 2-foot air nozzles. I can get around and get that really blown out. But then yeah, everything else, got your alternator there, your AC compressor here. I mean, it's a pretty well thought out machine, and I'm sure a lot of the other machines this size, like I said, this is the only I can ever compare it to, is this to like my minis. It's not, everything's not as compact just because the machine's bigger, so you got a whole lot more room to get in here and service stuff and kind of check things out. So yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. So we'll get everything kind of closed up and get it on the trailer. I think I need to stop and get some fuel in it, and then we'll be back over to Starbucks. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this service video.